4, 3, 2, 1.
Whether you've been married 1 or 20 plus years, at some point you realize you married into crazy. And that's what our show is all about. If your marriage or relationship is compassionate, real, accountable, zealous and yielding, or just plain crazy, Snooks and Lovey offer love, laughter, and a dose of reality as they unpack this thing called marriage. Sit back, relax, and get your ear hustle on. It's time to start the conversation.
Yo, what's up? It's your boy E.T. Look, if you're looking to or you got to raise the bar on your marriage, you gotta click the link and get into Married into Crazy, y'all. I'm telling you, this coaching is gonna take your relationship to another level. Now look, you already know you need to raise the bar. You know that already. So stop thinking or overthinking. Click that link, and Marriage into Crazy is gonna take you and your spouse to marital bliss. Now you know. Click the button. Let's go.
Welcome back to another episode of the Married into Crazy podcast with Snooks and Lovey. I'm Lovey.
I'm Snooks.
And this is part 2. This is
take 2, not part 2. Take 2.
Take number 2. Look, y'all, you know that we're coming back from a long hiatus. So
we're not going to blame it on that, though.
We try. we're coming back, right? And so there's a lot of things I have to work through. And then part of that is getting back into routine. We say a marriage mantra every single day. And part of that mantra, the very last thing we say,
the roots of our success are found in our routines.
And so when you get out of your routines, there's going to be a challenge with finding success. And so we are in the process of reestablishing some routines, one of which is getting back into a groove as it pertains to the podcast itself. And so with that said, I'm going to ask that each and every one of you reach out to your friends, your family, your mama, your cousin, your auntie, have them subscribe on YouTube to the Married into Crazy podcast. And if you haven't already done so yourself, please go over to YouTube and subscribe, and make sure that you subscribe wherever you download all your podcasts. And also visit marriedintocrazy.com, where you'll see all the different things that we do to support and lift up the covenant of marriage. But today we have a treat for you.
Today, I just want to say this right quick, though. I just love how there's this big lesson, basically, that Lovey didn't really say, but it's about grace, having grace for when things don't go right, or you mess up, or you don't do the routine or whatever. That was implied. I just want to say that I just love it, because he was the one that messed up. So if it wasn't his mess up, he'd be mad right now and telling y'all the whole story about why we have to do a take 2. We won't go into that. I just wanted to say that.
Does this sound like she's extending grace?
Love you. I'm just making a point. I'm just saying.
I'm not feeling the grace.
Oh, I'm sorry, baby. Okay. I took it all back.
You guys ever hear about the party after the party? There's going to be a conversation after the conversation.
Oh, wow. Okay. I'm ready for it. Let me crack my knuckles. What's up?
Listen, okay, you hear a little bit of chatter in the background. That's because today we have the honor and privilege of bringing you one of the special couples that we've been able to not just encounter and get to know, but to really bring into our Iron Tribe, where we talk about just as iron should sharpen iron, as it states in the Bible. We believe that we extend that to, as iron sharpens iron, we as couples should sharpen each other as well. And so we bring you couples and subject matter experts from time to time to help you out with your specific lifestyle, what you're going through. And hopefully some of these nuggets that we are able to provide indirectly can help you on your path, on your journey. And today we have the distinct privilege of bringing in and introducing to you Dominic and Dominic Mullins. I said I put you together. You know what? I did the whole what is it?
Brangelina or whatever.
Yeah. It's Dominic and Malique Mullins, not Dominique.
There we go.
There you go. Happy to be here.
That's funny.
Oh, so look, hey, first and foremost, thank you for putting up with the shenanigans of me messing up the podcast early on, because we was deep. We was going. Y'all were going in. And then I realized our microphones weren't working. So thank you for your patience, but thank you for being here. Absolutely. So tell us a little bit about yourselves, if you can. Who are Dominic and Malique?
Absolutely.
So first, I'm Dominic Mullins, 38 years old. My lovely wife, she's going to introduce herself too, but we've been married for 12 years, going on 13 years on January 8th. We have two beautiful kids. We have a daughter that's 10 years old who act like she's 17 years old. And then we have a son who is 7 years old, who is one of our joys of our life. We also brought in our niece who is 14 years old. Um, we do a lot. I do a lot. I do a lot right now. I work for the state of California. Also, I referee high school and college football. We have our own travel agent business that we own and operate, and we're also marriage counselors for our church. So that's me.
Okay. My name is Malique Mullins. I'm 36, married to this beautiful chocolate man.
Bless you, bless you, bless you.
I am a sign language interpreter. We do premarital counseling at our church. Also have a few groups that we have led at church, marriage groups, stay-at-home moms groups. I stayed home with our kids for 5 years, and have just recently gone back to working full time. And I don't know which one I like, and which I don't know which one is better at this point. It's just different kinds of hard. Being a stay-at-home mom was definitely a challenge because I'm used to being so busy. And then being a working full-time mom is a challenge because everybody starts and gets out at different times. And now we got the 2 school drop-offs, and I work at a school. So that's 3 lines of drop-off traffic every morning. Good times. But we have fun, We have fun. We travel a lot. Our son is on the spectrum. I think that you guys wanted to talk about that today. So being a special needs family, being a young married family, because I think I was 23 when we got married, and just learning a lot over these 12 years, and the time has flown by.
Wow.
Not only just special needs family, young family, but now blended family by bringing your niece in as well.
Yeah.
So there's what we should give it up for you. Yeah, we definitely got to give it up for you.
Yeah, y'all got a lot going on. I mean, a lot going on. So I don't know if Levy, I just want to just kind of get into it a little tiny bit. I know we didn't hear the origin story yet, but I just want to know, how do you, with all that you have going on, how do you find time for each other?
You have to be intentional. We have to seek each other out, even when exhausted, because the days are long. And we plan dates. We plan. We're working on trying to get an overnight trip with just the 2 of us for our anniversary. We put things on the calendar because if it's not on the calendar, it doesn't happen. So just being intentional.
I think that's. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I think that's something that I had to work on throughout the years because sometimes you don't realize how much, because we're always busy and doing things, you don't realize that, man, we haven't even hung out. We haven't even done this in so long. So now it's just really when I catch myself being busy, I'm like, stop. We're going to have to let me stop everything and put some stuff to the side. And this year, she was shocked. I've never missed a football game as an official, but I just saw the need that I needed to be there, especially for her birthday day, because it always lands during football season and I'm either traveling to a game or something like that. And I made it known that, you know what, I'm going to cancel this game and I don't care what happens because I want to make sure she knows I'm present, that she's important, that she comes before all of it. And it didn't affect me at all. That I thought in my mind it was going to affect me, but the best effect out of it is that she felt loved, appreciated, and even when things didn't go wrong, when things went wrong that day with people not communicating if they were going to show up and stuff, it still turned out to a beautiful thing. And I was going to say earlier about the take 2, diamonds are made through pressure. So we don't mind the take 2. So,
Right.
You building a diamond in this podcast. I'm building a diamond. We're building a diamond together. So it was just the pressure of that and become a diamond.
And that was huge for me because like one of my biggest love languages is quality time.
Mhm.
I'm very much like, okay, if we sat next to each other and you worked the whole time and we didn't have a conversation about anything, we weren't together. You might as well have not been here. That doesn't count for me. Like
Mhm.
being in the same room and not interacting, that's not time together to me. So, and we bringing him along. He's understanding now. Because at first he was like, we was together all day, and I was like, no, you were at your computer all day, and that doesn't count.
That's so
So
true.
yeah,
I like that. I'm sorry, did I interrupt you?
no, go ahead.
Okay. I'm just going to say, a lot of people I feel like have that misunderstanding that sharing space is not the same as spending time, because we share space 3 days a week because he works from home all the time and I'm in the office 2 days a week, but I'm in the home office 3 days a week. So we share space a lot, but it's not until he gets up or I get up at the end of whatever we're doing in between before I stop from work to go to school that we'll go sit on the couch together and I can snuggle up to him or whatever it is. That's us spending time. So if y'all hear that, whoever's working at home or whatever, don't misinterpret sharing space with spending time.
Amen.
Exactly.
Amen. It's intentional. I got to give it up. Dominic, I will say this. With you being a referee, and I coached so many years in volleyball, I felt like I was going to get backhanded by Snooks because for the greater part of a decade, she was a trooper. She spent her birthdays on the side of a volleyball court.
Even some of our anniversaries too.
Birthdays, anniversaries, Mother's Day.
Oh, Mother's Day.
Oh.
Now Mother's Day.
So I don't coach anymore.
Okay.
Not because of that.
No, I don't. But no, I want to commend you because not enough spouses. I won't just put it on the men, but I will say that it's probably the great majority of us. But not enough spouses have the awareness to recognize that even though something you're doing is something that you love, something that you deem to be important, it still could be detrimental to the thing that is most important to you.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Like you said, one day didn't make a difference, right? One day didn't destroy your career as an officiant or official, referee, what have you. So I just want to commend you for that. That's huge.
But that was huge for me that he took that day off for me. Like that was like, okay, you can do whatever else you want for the rest of the year. Like I have no complaints. I can't say anything for the rest of the year or whatever because you did that for me, and it was something that was specifically for me. And as a mother of high needs children, like it's very easy to feel left out or unappreciated or like on the list all the time. And like that day I was like, I'm first on the list and y'all can't tell nothing. Like
Let's go. You know what? Let's give it up for being first on the list.
I like that. Yes. First on the list.
There's a lesson in there. That's a bar for all of us. Let's make sure our spouse is first. And we know life. We talk about that fallacy, right? That fairy tale of, we got to find work-life balance.
No, you don't.
Balance doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. But we have to make sure that when we can, even when it's not absolutely comfortable or convenient, we have to make it a point to move our spouse to the front of the line as often as possible. We have to be intentional with that. And speaking of intention, I don't want to be. We've already gone through this earlier in our first little faux pas, but I want to hear about. I want our audience to hear about how it all began. So, how did you two actually meet? How did the love story begin? And don't clean it up because now you got a second chance.
She got it. She got it.
Okay, so we're both very involved with our churches. We have a mutual friend. We were having a harvest festival at our church, and I didn't want to go home because I'm 21. Like, I'm trying to be out and about. I don't want to be at home with my parents and my little sister. So I'm like, let's go do something. Our friend would host events for the young adults of our church all the time. He was involved in a few other groups. He was involved with a prayer group with Dom. So we all go over to their house. And he invites Dom and a few other people that I hadn't met, some other people that he fellowshipped with in San Francisco. And I saw him and I was like, oh, he's cute. Like, okay. Hi. And we met that night. I met another young lady there. And what else happened? He invited us all to an event, and because she was going, the other young lady that I met, I was like, "Hey, I'll go with you. I'm not going to go by myself. One, because I hate San Francisco, and two, like that's not a good look, So we go together, and So I met him at a party. The next time I see him, he's up on stage. He's dancing with the youth. They're having like this whole, kind of hyphy party, and I'm like, I'm feeling this. I'm here for it. Like I'm very much an extrovert, and I like being around people. And the energy was like, I love it. I'm like, what was important was I was like, there's something about his spirit that I really like. And we, in the event, they had everybody fill out an information card. So he gets all of our information, those of us that know each other, and makes I think it was a group email, and thanking us for coming to the event. And I was like, oh, it was great. Let me know if you're going to do something else, because I would love to come again. And so we're emailing back and forth for a little while. And I don't know about you guys, but I personally hate email. And the fact that it's so involved in my life right now, like, it drives me crazy because I just hate emails. So I'm like, I don't like emailing every day. I don't want to check my email every day. Can you just call me or text me or whatever? Because we have been emailing back and forth for a couple of days or quite a few times. Like, just text me or call me or whatever. So he calls, texts, we're chopping it up for a little while, friends for a little while. We started dating. So that was October that we met. So then the following February, you can tell the story.
Okay, so like I said, I'm gonna go back because you missed out some things. I do. So one, we went to different churches at the time. So that was safe, right? Yes. And then two, she didn't tell you how she was. I come into the room and she peeping me, and like she checking me out, like she said. I go to another part of the room and then I see her again, so we chopping it up. Then I go to another part of the room. No. She shows up again, and I'm like, oh, okay.
No. So they were watching like a scary movie or something in one part, and so we go to the other side. I don't do scary movies. He don't do scary movies. So I'm like, we're just avoiding the gore or whatever. So we just happened to be, it's a small house, small area that we were all in. It wasn't like I was following him through the house.
Not following him, but you saw what you liked and you went after it. Gosh. So anyway.
I will say that's not all the way untrue, because I was available. So I was available.
Single and ready
to be found, okay? I was available to be found.
Oh yeah,
I love it.
So we did start talking. I intentionally did the emails to like 5 people because I didn't want to just reach out to her and be, like creepy. Creep. So we did start talking, and then the day before Valentine's Day, we're at Lake Merritt in Oakland, California. It's night. The mood is right. Everything is romantic. We're walking on the water, not walking on the water like Jesus, but walking by the water.
By the waterfall and everything, the water feature.
Right.
And at that time, been through some bad relationships in the past, so I have relationship issues. It was a big step for me to ask her to be my girlfriend. So I asked her, and the answer she tells me without hesitation is no.
It was a joke. It was a joke. It was badly timed, and it didn't land well.
It didn't. So me holding back my tears, I just, walk around, and then she finally tells me that night or the next morning, hey, it was just a joke. I really didn't mean that. So then I asked her again, and on February 14th, I think that's Valentine's
That's our
Day.
anniversary now. So the
that's
day I
our-
would remember.
Wow.
We remembered our
I
anniversary.
wouldn't have remembered the
anyways.
date. I'm not good with dates.
Wow.
That'd be
I'm
on-
sorry. I just gotta say, if it was this day and age, Malik, you probably would have been blocked.
Probably. Yeah.
Nah, I
Ghosted, at least.
wanted her. I wanted her bad.
Now
I wanted
keep
her.
in mind, like,
Aw.
we had talked and hung out like every day up to this point. So it wasn't like I would actually say no. It was like, well, of course, I figured we was already together. You know? So
Well, see, that's the thing. It's not official till it's official.
yeah.
You know?
Right?
Man, I probably would have walked away with my tail between my legs,
Yeah.
whimpering, licking my wounds for a week or two. No, but you're competitive. You're like, oh wait, what do you mean no? Okay, you know what? Now, okay, game on.
Yep.
And it was a joking no. I was like, no. You know, it wasn't like no. So it was very clearly a joke.
Because the way you say no does hit the spot too. It does really tell. So yeah, I feel that. Okay, you wouldn't have been blocked. I take it back.
Right.
So tell me this though. So from that moment, the no, not psych, just playing. I really mean yes. From that moment, how long from there until you actually proposed and got the real I do? And please don't tell me that you proposed and she said no the first time and then.
I think she learned her lesson. No.
I did. You can't joke with him about certain things.
Yeah, that's war wounds right there.
Right.
I would say almost maybe a year and a month before I actually proposed. We started dating, and the pastors at the time, our pastors at the time, because she moved from her church and joined the church I was going to at the time, Pastor Lane and Toya Hawkins from Neighborhood Baptist Church in San Francisco. I would talk to my pastor every day, and he saw something and he knew, okay, let's get involved with them early. Especially because we went to a church where everybody there were married 20 plus years. So he wanted to pour into us. So we actually did premarital counseling. So before I even proposed to her, we was going through counseling, just learning about each other. And then when I proposed in front of the whole church without her knowing, in March on Palm Sunday, and at the time I was a youth pastor, and I preached the worst sermon of my life, and because I was nervous and trying to finish up, but I proposed on that day, and
I said yes.
she did say
yes.
She shook her head yes.
I was speechless.
Aw.
But
So you said pre.
Yeah. So we were dating intentionally, dating with the intention and purpose to be married. Like I said before, I wasn't just out here just dating anybody. I had very, very thoughtfully prayed before. I'm like, I don't want to meet my husband and be like, oh, I had X amount of boyfriends before I met you. I'm like, no, if you're going to be my boyfriend, we're dating with the intention to be married. So if we're serious and what is it? Committed, not committed. When you're not seeing anybody else, then
Exclusive.
Yeah. I'm like, we're going to be exclusive, then it's with the intention to be married. And we were both, very much of the same vein. So our pastors were right on board and they started talking to us, and it was so good to have those outside of the box thinking. Cause I was 21 when we met. I had just turned 21 the month before we met. So I'm young. I'm not thinking about the future. I'm not, family planning was one of the things that the pastors had brought up, because they're like, oh, well, he for sure wants to have kids, and you probably want to do that before you're 30. So you have this many years before he turns 30 that you want to start having your kids. And I was like, oh, I had not. I was very much opposed to giving birth. I'm like, that's gross. I don't want to do that. I had a health class and they made us watch a live birth, and I was like, that's disgusting. People are saying childbirth is beautiful. It's not. It's not. And I was like, I don't want to do that. So, but after I met him, I did say, I'm like, well, we can adopt. But after I met him, because like you said, he's a youth pastor, I'm like, he would be a really good father, and somebody should have a good father, because I didn't have a good father. I'm like, I'm over 2.
Right. She said 0 for
Like
2.
somebody in our bloodline, because I was thinking
Right.
about that. I'm like, somebody in our generation, in our family bloodline, needs to have a good dad, because we have,
Mm.
my family had so many divorces, absentee fathers. You got kids around, in different area codes. Like
Mhm.
my stepfather had, 4 baby mamas, 7 kids
Mm.
across the country, and
Mhm.
I didn't want that. I'm like, if we're gonna be together, we're gonna be together. And if I'm having somebody's baby, it is a covenant, and it is forever, and it has to be, the man has to be worthy of that.
Mm.
And a lot of people don't think about that. Like, you have a lot of young
Mhm.
girls out here that are just, sleeping around, and no shade to nobody, do what you're gonna do,
That's so
but
good.
be mindful of the man that you sleep with,
That's
because
good.
every
That's
time you
right.
sleep with him, you have the potential to be your baby daddy, and be stuck with him for the next 18 years.
That's
And
right.
so, like, I would be cool with him.
That's right. I
I'm
love
baby
it.
daddy
We
material.
could
I'm
get
baby
you for
daddy
18
material.
years.
I love it. I love it. I love that. I mean, there's so many things that you just said that just, I mean, nuggets. I hope everyone caught that. But I want to
Yeah.
go back to a couple of them as far as like the intentional dating,
Hmm.
um, dating with a purpose. We like you. I ain't just trying to be out here, especially if in your mind you already have it set that you want to be a wife.
Hmm.
You would make someone a fabulous wife, and he has to be worthy of it. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? But to know that, go into both of you having the same mindset, that's what being equally yoked is about too.
Hmm.
We went in, okay, this is, we ain't just out here, we're intentional, and people don't think about that. I feel like, and I'm not trying to knock anyone. If you feel like that's the timeline that you want to have, but I'm not about to date you for 5 years before
Hmm.
you figure out that you want me to be your forever, bruh. You gonna need to know way before that, cause if that's not what you're about, then let me know that. You know what I'm saying? Another thing too that I love that you said, you saw him and was like, he would be a great dad because somebody needs one. That is, you
Hmm.
talk about breaking generational curses
Yeah.
Yeah.
on so many different levels, because as you stated, there are so many people in our families. We are
Hmm.
all affected by absentee fathers, no good ones, baby daddies and baby mamas in different area codes or whatever. You got
Right.
cousins, that I'm related to him because the daddy or the mama
Right.
or whoever is not even, they're not around. So to have, and for Dom, on the other hand, to be young and know this is what I want. You wasn't out there just trying to be in a club and just, knocking boots. Think that what they used to say back in the day.
Yo,
Just with, yeah. Look, I just told my age back in the day. But you're intentional about it. Be
And
mindful of who you sleep with, because they may very well be attached to you for the rest of your life. And who wants to hear every day, I can't stand him, your daddy or your mama, da, 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 So I love that.
and just being intentional. Like, I was still a virgin when we got married, because I had seen so many bad relationships. I have seen so many baby daddy, baby mama drama. I'm like, I don't want to have any parts of that. I was
Mm-hmm.
like, I want to do and live my life the way God has called us to, because He has a plan and a purpose for us, and I don't want to
Amen.
step outside of that and
Mm-hmm.
have, some, whole other generation of people that's continuing to carry on this generational curse.
Right.
So I'm like, mm-mm.
She said,
That's what
mm-mm.
my
And
pastor said. My pastor said, no ring, no thing, no contract, no contact.
That's not, I know that's
no
right.
contract,
and,
no
and
I know
contact.
that's
Yeah.
right. I know that's right.
and
Wow.
what a
You know,
testimony. Oh, I'm sorry.
no, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think that's part of our testimony of, being intent. Going back, I feel like intentional is the word for today.
Where did that
Is being intentional, especially in the aspects of sex and intimacy, where even before we dated, I made a vow to God that I'm going to stop and really just focus on Him. And, she was a virgin until the night of our wedding night.
Yep.
So for us to be in that time of age where, everybody's like, hey, you can't get married until you know what you doing and this
Right.
and that. But we didn't live like a month before she got married, I moved her into an apartment, and I didn't live there, and
Didn't spend the night there.
I didn't spend the night
Didn't
there.
spend too long there.
And don't get me wrong, it was nice where she had to shut the door on me.
You
and
gotta
lock it
go.
on
You
me.
gotta
Yeah, you don't got to go home, but you can't stay here.
Yeah.
But I think it's intentional. You know what you want, and if it's worth it, it's worth the wait.
Yeah.
And what she did was, and what we did was made it clear that this is something we could share with our kids. It's something that we could share with the kids in the youth ministry. It's something that we could share to that next generation, where it's like, you don't have to be normal, but it's normal to what God called us to do. So when we're walking in the steps, and I think that's one of the many reasons why our marriage is blessed, why I still love and like my wife, is because, one, we have God a part of it, but two, because we made things intentional on how we wanted to start our life and build a foundation.
I love it. That's so beautiful. That's so beautiful. I mean, there's a lot of parallels with you guys and us.
I wasn't a virgin.
Not the virgin part, though. I was like, let me cover my face up because
Oh my God. I didn't pass that test.
We all got our own stories and our own journeys. And
Thank you for listening to the Married Into Crazy podcast with Snooks and Lovey. Please like, subscribe to, and review the show wherever you access it, and tell a friend about us. Visit marriedintocrazy.com and see how Snooks and Lovey can bless your marriage directly.